Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk with Joe and Dina, and we are excited to have in studio now. This is actually 2 out of the last 3 episodes. We actually have an in studio guest. So, Daniela Galveo, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
well.
It's good to have you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's a
So
pleasure.
we always joke about Real Talk is like, with no scripts, right? We'll come up with a topic and we'll just talk about it, right? Like in the moment, because it's called Real Talk. And so Daniela came here today thinking that she was just meeting with us. She didn't think that
I
she
didn't
was,
know I was going to be here speaking.
Yeah, sitting
on
behind
a
the table,
microphone,
talking to a microphone. And hey, guess what? You're going to be on our podcast.
Yeah.
So, listen, we're excited to have you here because we wanted to talk about, one of the big things that we have, been seeing within La Rosa is the opportunity, with the great success of our division Latina and other, organizations and committees and groups, within the company have really been able to kind of been birthed over the last, year and a half. And, one of them is our Brazilian community, it's just community really more than anything else, not committee. And just seeing it really just flourish and seeing it grow so rapidly, over these last, few months. So tell us a little bit about, how it's going and some of the things that I know you guys are working on right now.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to go a little bit back on how it all got started because there was a need that I started seeing a lot of agents that speak Portuguese within La Rosa. And we know that the Latino community is really big here, really strong. We have a lot of agents that speak Spanish, and we see they're very united. And I was always thinking there are so many agents that are from Brazil or Portugal that speak Portuguese, and they're all scattered and they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. So let's put something together for more support for these agents, because this is something that I lacked myself. So I went out to Joe and Dina and I spoke to you guys, and then we said, listen, why don't we put something together? And we came up with this idea of this Brazilian community. So basically what we do, we have resources for agents who speak Portuguese. So when they come into La Rosa, they know they're going to have someone who speaks their language to be there for them. So we have support in forms of trainings. We have a lot of trainings in Portuguese. We have recorded trainings. We have within our platform, which is the My Agent account. So we have in there files for them, templates, a lot of things in their own language, so they can thrive and they can improve their businesses.
Right.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing, especially like here, where we're based out of in Celebration, but really all throughout Central Florida. I mean, just the Brazilian community is just like exploding. It's growing like so rapidly.
Yeah, as well.
Well, this group that we also have a WhatsApp group, which is, for Brazilians, it's very strong. We all communicate through WhatsApp, and we have agents from a lot of places. So we have from South Florida, from all over Florida, some other states, just because they're there, and when they learn that they can come and communicate, sometimes we're like, someone needs I'm going to do an open house. I don't have a sign. Anyone here has? Yes, I have. Come here, pick it up. So we're always kind of helping each other. It's a great thing. And I see that agents are coming from other places. And I think it's important for La Rosa to have this out there that, yes, we have a division, or actually we have a community of Portuguese speaking agents to support you.
Yeah.
And I love that, you'll have, because we've seen this before, we'll have an agent that may live in Orlando or Lake Nona or maybe even Jacksonville, and they love the broker there and they love the team and the office, but they have that little gap in the speaking. Like, they speak Portuguese and they need that support. So I think as all the broker owners and team leaders are like, that's great, because we get to grow our office, we get to give the support, but whatever's in that gap of the support they need, they can be part of that community within La Rosa, and they get basically everything. So we really give them a track to success.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they have the support over their brokerage. Every 3 months we gather and we go either to a new development, and we have someone that will come and talk to them about a subject that is very important. Usually Brazilian agents here in Florida, most of our clientele, they come looking for investments like vacation homes, like short-term rentals is a very big share of our production. So we are working with a lot of local new developers to do presentations on products for them. And we also have here at La Rosa our new construction committee, which is also guided we're always promoting other places too, but we bring a lot of these communities that are short-term rentals that a lot of people are looking for, and so the Brazilian agents, they really like this type of products.
So it's bringing awareness too.
Yeah, exactly.
So is investors, more clients from Brazil coming now to the U.S. and wanting to invest into the U.S. now, or is it and again, I go back 3, 4, 5 years, right? It almost feels like there's like waves where it's really hot and strong, and all of a sudden it kind of dies back a little bit, and then it comes back. Like, where is it right now?
Well, it always has to do with the economy, how it goes in Brazil, you know, and usually right after elections, there's like a little bit of a shake, and then the uncertainty and So what we've been seeing, like within the last 6 months or so, we've been seeing a lot of people who want to invest, put their money in different currencies. So they are all coming and looking for real estate. A lot of investors also are a little bit not so certain about other type of investments, so they all come here and they say, you know what, real estate is something that I like, feel safe. So they also look for that. So yes, we've been seeing more and more. Always seeing more. And you know what, the market here in Florida, especially Central Florida, there's always a good market for someone. You know, sometimes for the buyer, sometimes for the seller. It just has to have the right price. So, it happens. Yeah.
So where are you seeing the market right now? Not to put you on the spot.
Well, it's strong. It's for sure strong. And as I tell all my clients, they're like, oh, you know what? I want to buy something super cheap. I said, well, super cheap is very difficult because sellers, they don't have to put super cheap. They can just put market price and it will sell.
Yeah, right.
Super fast. And then, so we can always find a good property, a good location, with a fair market price, because nobody has to go below market price. The same thing is, if a seller wants to sell, the market is always good for sale, but you have to understand what the market is, and then that's where we have to go. Because other than that, you're going to be there for so many days, and you're not going to sell. Expectations will be,
It's crazy because I was we're getting ready. Both my CFO and I are getting ready to present this weekend at a conference, and we were looking at some of the stats. He wanted to have some stats, kind of like year over date, and while we were looking at the stats, we were looking at that fact that there's still appreciation. Like, we're actually still seeing, I think it was like 4% appreciation.
Yes, there is.
And it's supply and demand, right? Not a lot of inventory. Inventory has gone up just a fraction, like barely, right? But there's not enough inventory, right? It's just more demand. And so are the clients that you're working with, right? The clients that are coming from Brazil, are they mainly cash buyers, or are they getting financing, or what are you seeing? Because one of the big holdups right now, what's preventing people from that I'm seeing, that are maybe not wanting to sell today because they're only paying maybe like 3-4% on their interest, right now with their mortgage. Why are they going to try to sell and then go into a 7 or even higher, right? So, but are Brazilian clients actually paying cash, or are they getting financing?
A lot of them are getting financing. Okay. Most of the times they have the money, but they still finance. Yeah. They finance it now. They can do an arm of 3 years, and then 3 years from now they refinance, because for them it's more interesting to keep the money and just put whatever they have to put. To buy
we'll do more with the money, right? Spread it around. Not put it all into one.
Exactly. So since there is a program for foreign nationals to buy, they always prefer to buy financed if they can. So it's very difficult. Someone who comes in and says, okay, so all my cash and I'll pay it. It's difficult. It almost doesn't happen, And you were talking about the value of properties going up about like 4%. Even if you look in Orlando, I was looking at the numbers last week. The appreciation here was about 8% in the Orlando area. Yeah. Well, I said 4% nationally, right? Nationally, so when you got states like California and others that maybe kind of are either flat or even in the negative, that's pulling that number down. But Florida is crazy. Yes, and actually in the end of October, NAR released, Florida Realtor Association released profile of the international buyer.
Right.
And Brazil went from 5th on the list to the 3rd country that buys the most of the international real estate buyers within Florida.
Wow.
So so it's coming up just because this year I mean people got way more interested in buying real estate this year.
What are some of the hot markets that you're seeing like in Florida?
Well, Orlando for sure. You know, while I'm here, I have a great feeling of what's going on.
Right.
But I know Miami. You mean for Brazilians or for?
Not for Brazilians, yeah.
For Brazilians, usually like the hotspots for Brazilian is like Miami, Orlando. Who's getting his license, and he called me and said, "Oh, you know what? I have a client for us, and he wants to buy a property in Devonport." And because he wants to invest, it's a long-term property he wants to buy, and then he wants to buy like 2, and in 3 years he wants to sell them all and buy himself a house because it's going to come to move here. And this is a trend that happens a lot. I've been seeing a lot of my clients, they come here and say, hey, let me buy a $350,000 long-term property, which is new construction perhaps in Devonport, Haines City, Winter Haven. And then they rent it out, and it's going to appreciate. And when they come here, then they just convert into a bigger house for themselves.
Right.
So, and I was like, how come does he know about it? And this agent, you know, he told me because he doesn't even have a license yet, and his client doesn't know anything because he's in Brazil. But apparently, he already knows the trend, which is buying property long term around Orlando because you know. If you wanted to stay closer to Orlando, it's going to be more expensive. So the furthest you go, the least expensive it's going to get.
Yeah.
So another thing that I've been seeing a lot on my clients and on my team's clients is that buyers are looking for land to build houses and sell it right after they build it.
Okay.
So this was a trend that started in Palm Bay, then it moved to Ocala, Marion Oaks, and now it's down in Port Charlotte and Lehigh Acres. So we sold a couple of lands down there last month. And
Love it. So they're getting more into like the developer's mindset of actually like identifying a parcel, building their own, home, whatever else, and just flipping it and selling it.
Yeah, and if you go to that area specifically, I usually, when I have the client, I put them on the MLS and say, okay, so let me show you what's going on in this area, because they all come. They're a little bit behind. They say, I want to buy land in Ocala. I said, well, I think everybody already bought all the land there. They're already moving to Northport.
Yeah.
Northport. And so let me show you what's happening. So when I open the MLS and I show them, okay, this is what for sale, new construction. This is what's pending. This is what's sold. And they're selling in, 20 days.
Wow.
It's super fast. They're like workforce homes.
Yeah.
But, they're just selling really fast. And so I have these clients come in more and more. I have one agent of mine, Rodrigo. He's specialized. I'm working on him only on these clients. So a lot happening on that too.
Right.
On the development.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you mentioned Port Charlotte. How is it down there in that market? Is that market a pretty strong market?
It is. It is very strong. Like all these houses that I see, I've been looking more into the new development. New homes that people are building to sell.
Right.
This market is super strong.
Yeah.
I would assume that the resale market is good as well.
Yeah.
Because if one is good, the other one has to be. There's not only one product. There's always price. If the price is right, people will buy. And with all these things happening, Florida's growing so much. I have these clients that come for Devonport. They ask, what about Devonport? Is it nice because it's far? I said, no, it's not far because there are so many things happening. Hospitals, shops, and all that around. And so people that work within these industries, they need homes.
Sure.
And these homes are the ones being sold or rented, So that's what's been going on everywhere outside of the big areas like Tampa. So Tampa is another area that Brazilians like a lot. Sarasota, I've been seeing a lot of people. Sometimes they come from the north. They live in the north and it's too cold, so they want to come. They come to Sarasota area, Tampa.
Sure.
But for sure, Orlando and Miami area are very strong.
Which is so great for collaboration within La Rosa.
Of course.
Being that La Rosa is, in multiple states, right? And then all across Florida.
Yeah.
For if somebody has a client that's listing their house in Fort Lauderdale, I mean, not for North, like Jacksonville area, but they want to go to Sarasota, for those, brokers can collaborate and be like, refer business and take really good care of the client.
Yeah, we do that. And also we have on this My Agent account, we were having a call today within our group, and we can always refer within the company. We can always go and see who's in. Actually, we met an agent today from Port Charlotte, and she said, I'm here. If you guys need anything, referral, send it to me. So we can always recognize each other and send business, and they can help our clients down there.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, listen, so if you're out there listening and you're a realtor, a lot of realtors today, because of the volatility in the market and uncertainty, right? Rates go up, they're coming down a little bit now, so that's a good sign. There's so many excuses that I keep hearing about, well, it's just a really bad market. But I mean, Daniela, you're a great example. I know we're talking about the Brazilian community, but really just like the positive, outlook and the experiences.
It's like buy, if you need to buy now, because the price or the property will appreciate. And 3 years from now, 4 years, 5 years, you refinance. I've done that myself, just to an investment property. I said, I didn't buy with the interest rate that I wanted, but honestly, I will refinance, but I didn't want to miss out on the price.
Right.
That's that old saying, right? Date the rate, marry the house.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's how it goes. So,
because if you match the appreciation versus what that rate means in payment or in growth or in assets, it's a no-brainer to just, buy the property. And investors are big now. So, agents should be paying attention to the investor market, because it's a huge market.
It is, for sure.
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day on social media where someone was talking about like the last 20 years and like where rates were 20 years ago. And we had this obviously big drop for a period of time. But, if you would have waited back then, like, and not purchased, or if you would have purchased, you had the opportunity of having your, value of your property literally like 5x. I mean, it's just crazy. It was like after like 20, 25 years. So there's so much opportunity in real estate. I think it's probably one of the best investments that, anybody can make. So I'm not just trying to be biased here, but it's kind of how I've always felt.
Yeah, and the rates aren't even that bad, in all honesty.
Not
like,
really.
If you look at, like, over the last 50 years, and, like, the rates aren't that bad. It's just that we got so spoiled when they dropped it to, like, they was in the 3s, and people, like, so now, like, everyone's panicking over 7s and 8s, but in all reality, like, the rates aren't even that bad. It's just you get used to something, and then now your norm has, like, you've dropped it. But the rates are not that bad if you look at, like, the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents bought it, like, 16, I want to say. Can you imagine? Like,
and the thing is with my Brazilian clients is the same thing, because in Brazil the interest rate is so much higher. Like 10%, it's something like, oh my gosh, I need to buy it at 10%. So when they come here and
that goes into knowing your market, knowing if you are an agent that's dealing with investors, like, know what area your investors are coming from and what is the norm to them, so that when you meet them, you're not like setting them up for like, oh, I know you're worried about the rate, or you don't start with the negativity, right? Because at the end of the day, real estate is still the number one way to get wealthy. Yeah. Right. And it's security, right? It's an asset that's secured. So you just got to keep remembering that, and let go of all the other nonsense that's out on the news and in the market and all the naysayers, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure.
So, Daniela, as we get ready to close here, tell us kind of what are some of the plans, for the future for the, Brazilian community, especially within La Rosa. What do you guys have, anything special that you guys are working on? Any events?
Yes, we do. We have right now we're going to have next month our holiday happy hour for the Brazilian community. So it's going to be Brazilian agents getting together for the holidays. And then after that, every quarter, we're going to have a field trip, which is going to be at one community. And then in there, we're going to have some sort of training for them. Right. Other than that, I am always available to any agent who speaks Portuguese. The agents that are within La Rosa know about it. So we have resources. I can always show them where to find these resources within our My Agent account. I'm always there for them to give them ideas and, to connect people. And so we're always out there trying to help as much as we can. And we always like to learn, to hear from them. That's what we always ask. Please put your voice out there. Let us know what you need, because I understand the Brazilian community as a filter to the corporate. Whatever they need, we can be their voices and say, hey, you know, this is what they need. Can we work this somehow? And then that's how we came up with templates that they asked for.
Yeah.
You know, they asked for like marketing videos. We had a few made for them. So all these things.
Right. And just get them on the right success track, right? By bridging the gap of, you know, where they are and what they need.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's great. Listen, we're going to share your information, you know, either was in our description or in the comments for sure. So if folks want to go ahead and find Daniela and reach out to her, and we're excited to see your success and your continued success, you know, and we appreciate what you're doing here at La Rosa and what you're doing in the community as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys too. I appreciate the company and, you know, the Brazilian agents. So if you guys need anything, I'm out here.
All right. Well, that's going to be this week's episode here at Real Talk with Joe and Dina. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you guys here next time.